everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm doing the first date book tag. So because Valentine's Day is tomorrow, I figured I would go ahead and do a Valentine's Day themed tag. So I went ahead and decided to do the first date book tag, and I will have the creator's video down below as well as all the questions. So let's just get into it. Number 1, The Awkward First Date, a book where something felt off. It wasn't a bad book, but lacked that spark for you. I'm going with Nothing Personal by Karina Halley. This is a recent book. I read this back in January, and yeah, it just kind of lacked for me. I was really excited about it because the book that she released before that, And Word of King, was one of my favorite books of the year, and so I was really excited to hopefully like keep hitting the jackpot with Karina's books. But yeah, this one just fell off. I didn't really love the characters that much, and I wasn't really into the romance that much either. 2, The Cheap First Date, a book that turned out less than you expected. I'm going with Love and Lingerie by Alessandra Tor. I was so excited for this book. I love the cover, and I just like kept hyping it up in my mind, and it wasn't that great. I gave it like 2 stars. I hated the male character. I just didn't agree with what he decided to do. I didn't agree with his actions or anything like that, which made me not like the book, so I gave it 2 stars. But I was so excited to read this, and I love the cover. 3, Well Prepared First Date, Better Than Expected. For this, I'm going with The Good Luck Charm by Helena Hunting. This, I didn't really have high expectations for at all, really. I love her books, but a lot of my Goodreads friends had given this 3 stars. I'd heard like it was a mediocre book, and so I just kind of went into it not expecting that much, and I loved it. I loved it so much. I gave it like almost 5 stars. It was one of my favorite books of 2018. I loved it so much. It was just such a great hockey and second chance romance. I loved it so much. 4, Hot But Dumb, Pretty Book, Not So Hot on the Inside. I'm going with Then There Was You by Claire Contreras. I am obsessed with this cover. It is so pretty. I will never shut up about how pretty this cover is. I love it so much, but I didn't really like the book. It's not a bad book. I gave it 3 stars. I just really didn't like the characters, and the romance wasn't that great, and it was very like angsty and just not what I wanted, so I ended up giving it 3 stars. But the cover is just perfection. 5, Blind Date, a book you picked up not knowing anything about. I'm going with Love Game by Tracy Wolff. This is one of my favorite books of all time. I requested it on NetGalley but didn't really know much of what it was about because I've read some of Tracy's books in the past and enjoyed them, so I didn't really know what this one was about. But I requested it, got the ARC, and read it literally the day before it actually came out, and I was so obsessed with it. If you love romance, suspense, mysteries with like a little bit of erotica, totally recommend it. It follows this journalist who's used to like covering murderers and like darker topics. He gets the opportunity to interview this up-and-coming actress, and they kind of fall in love, and there's things in her past that she's trying to hide, and there's things in his past, and then there's also things in the present that are happening, and it's just so good. I highly recommend if you have not read it yet. It's one of my favorite books of all time. 6, Speed Dating, book you read super fast. I feel like I'm a pretty fast reader in general, so I don't feel like there's a book that I have read like super fast. But I'm gonna go with Misadventures of a College Girl by Lauren Rowe. This I do remember reading really fast and being like super obsessed with it and just loving it, and I read this last year, and I mean, it's a pretty small book. It's like 252 pages, so it's not super long, but I do remember reading it really fast and loving it. 7, The Rebound, a book you read too soon after a book hangover and it kind of ruined the book for you. I'm going to go with The Hardest Fall by Ella Mace. I know everybody loves this book, but I read this book shortly after I read Jock Rowe by Sarah Nye, and I loved Jock Rowe so much that nothing really compared. And sadly, The Hardest Fall just didn't live up to what I had just read. So it wasn't that I was book hungover, it's just like I had read a really, really good book and what I read after wasn't the same. It wasn't it, you know? So sadly for this, I know so many people love this book, but I think I read it too soon after I read Jacques Rou, and they're not similar in any way, and I'm not saying that. It's just when you read a really, really, really good book, and then you read a book after and you're like, oh, this doesn't compare. It's not the same. It doesn't give me the same feelings. That's how I feel about The Hardest Fall. 8. Overly Enthusiastic Date, a book that felt like it was trying too hard. I'm going with Richer Than Sin by Megan March. Actually, the whole trilogy. I don't know why I read the entire trilogy. I think I just wanted to know what happened. But this trilogy was kind of all over the place and definitely tried too hard. It was kind of like a story about like feuding families and like one generation falls in love and it's like the end of the world. It's so dramatic. It read like a soap opera, just one thing after another, and I just felt like it was trying too hard to be so dramatic and to be so like over the top. Megan March could have done so many different things with this, but it tried too hard in my opinion. I just didn't enjoy it yet. I read the entire trilogy for some reason. I don't know. Number 9, The Perfect First Date, book that did everything right for you. I'm going with Racer by Katie Evans. I haven't talked about this book in a while, but I love this book so much. It was one of my favorite books of 2017. This is the son of Brooke and Remy, who you meet in Real. This is about their son. He's all grown up and he is, like his name, a racer. And he, I think, has bipolar disorder. I can't remember exactly, I'm so sorry. But he had whatever Remy had, like Remington. They have the same thing. And so he's dealing with that, and then he meets Lana, our female character, who is also part of the racing community. I think her dad races his own cars or something like that, and that's how they meet. And they have this epic love story, and it's just so great. I loved it so much. I kind of want to reread it like right now because it's been a while. Anyways, I loved this book so much. Number 10, Humiliating First Date, book you're embarrassed to admit you liked / embarrassed to see reading in public for whatever reason. I just want to say I am never ever embarrassed for reading books, specific books in public. I'm not ashamed of what I read. I'm not embarrassed about what I read. I really don't care what other people think about me and my reading taste. I have better things to do than care about what other people think of my reading taste. Like, I could spend that time reading one of my new favorite books. You know what I mean? And I feel like people who judge other people on their reading tastes are closed-minded and also just could be missing out on reading the best book they've ever read because they're being too judgy about it. Reading is for fun. It's not this big thing. Anyways, spiel over. I'm gonna go with Man Whore by Katie Evans, just because I feel like the title is it would make you do like a double take. Like, what is she reading? But I am not embarrassed about this. I love this book so much, but I do feel like I would get questionable looks if I read this out in public, because the title and also the cover. So I get it, but like I wouldn't be embarrassed about it. I'd be like, do you want to read it too? Alright, so that is it for my first date book tag. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Happy early Valentine's Day. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!